It's always the same, isn't it? There you are, on your way home after a long stay in foreign parts, when you incur the wrath of the ancient gods of Olympus and are promptly sentenced by Zeus to travel among unknown stars. But look on the bright side, you went sightseeing aboard a really big starship. Created by Jean Chapolin and Nina Woolmark, Ulysses 31 was produced by DIC Audiovisual and Tokyo Movie Shinja, and initially released in late 1981, running into early 1982. It arrived on British screens in late 1985. It was a science fiction retelling of Homer's The Odyssey, with a host of other Greek myths thrown in. Set in outer space in the 31st century, the series contains what in my opinion is the best version of the Sisyphus myth outside of the original myth itself. Indeed, I would go as far as to say the Ulysses 31 rendering of the ancient myth may be better than the original. This series had a distinctive look, and in the design work for the ship of Ulysses, we see one of the more striking spaceship designs in science fiction. Until you find the kingdom of Hades, your bodies will stay as lifeless as stone. Just how a body as lifeless as stone is to actively seek out the kingdom of Hades is a bit of a puzzle, but luckily for the crew of the Odyssey, Ulysses is unaffected by the curse of Zeus, being inside the Iris at the time of the curse's strike. This Iris, the source of the Odyssey's photonic energy drive, is reminiscent of the oculus found on ancient Roman and Greek ships. The Odyssey is highly automated and can be piloted by only a handful of crew. She is equipped with a host of robots keeping the ship in shape. There is even a garden complete with a pool. Capable of energizing defense screens against attack, the Odyssey apparently carries no offensive weapons systems. In one episode, she is nearly destroyed by Trident attack ships, and is only saved by the intervention of Kronos, the Lord of Time. The Odyssey is clearly not a warship. She does seem to be fast when speed is necessary, and quite maneuverable. The array of thrusters can turn the ship around on a penny. And in one of those flashes of reality, rare in animated and live-action science fiction, the main engines are not in a constant state of firing, unlike, say, in Star Wars. As I am sure you all know, in space you don't need your engines to be operating continuously, as the forces working against your motion, for example atmospheric resistance, is not an issue. The manner of the Odyssey's passage across the screen is worth noting. She always seems to be listing to one side or another, as if damaged by her sudden removal from normal space. Indeed, she does not look right travelling on an even keel, as I discovered when making these animations. Also, there are times in which she moves as if thrown across space, her proverbial prow not quite pointing in the direction in which she is travelling. There are questions concerning the Odyssey, such as, do the internal decks curve with the shape of the ring? Would a member of the crew be upside down if he were in the lower half? Given the pattern of windows visible on the port and starboard sides of the ring structure, and what we see in the series finale, in which the Odyssey effectively runs aground on the galactic glaciers, we must suppose not. The question we are concerned with in this video is, how big is the Odyssey? The starship of our 31st century space legend Ulysses is clearly meant to be a very large vessel, but any attempt to measure a fictional ship in an animated series runs into challenges. The shape may subtly change with every episode appearance, depending on the circumstances of the animation team and their deadlines. We might call this a state of animated flux, yet there are enough clues in the series to arrive at a rough estimate. Ulysses has at his disposal a pair of shuttlecraft. We see these craft in context with the characters, and so we can gauge their size. One is a craft notable for dividing into 3 sections, and it is apparently called Varius Orbos Dodos, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing. Let's suppose Ulysses himself is 6 feet in height, a good heroic height. Keeping in mind the animated nature of the shuttle, its state of animated flux, then we can say the shuttle's height, minus landing gear but plus the fins, is something like 21 feet or 6.4 meters. Its width is 32 feet or 9.7 meters, and in length it is about 84 feet or 25.6 meters. Both shuttles launch from a hangar bay visible below the command deck. Whilst it has been suggested that these structures to port and starboard are hangar bays, we frequently see the shuttles launch from a hatch above and behind these distinctive circular structures. Rather than being in front of the box-like structures up here, these circular structures are clearly a part of this protruding section of the Odyssey, possibly a navigation tower for shuttles. If this is correct, then we can compare the shuttle's dimensions to this structure and by extension to the whole ship. Based on our model therefore, the Odyssey's width is 3,836 feet or 1,169.2 meters. Her height is 2,878 feet or 877.2 meters, and her length is 1,667 feet or 508 meters. There is a lot of guesswork here, of course. Perhaps these upper box-like structures are hangars. Perhaps our model is wrong. Perhaps my mathematics are grossly inaccurate, which I happily admit is possible. Or perhaps the state of animated flux throws all this into confusion. If not though, then we have the answer to our question. The Odyssey of Ulysses 31 is somewhere around half a kilometre in length, well over 3/4 of a kilometre in height, and she has an estimated beam of just over a full kilometre. But of course, this is all rather academic. What does it matter how big an animated spaceship is? Well, it doesn't, but I wanted a good excuse to recreate the Odyssey, which has always been a favourite of mine. But I hope you enjoyed this video, or at least didn't hate it. If the former, then please press the like button, share it on social media, and subscribe to this channel. If the latter, then press the dislike button, share the video on social media, and subscribe to the channel anyway.